Cartography is the discipline that researches the art, science, and technology of making and using maps. One way to think about maps is as a communication and visualization technology. Maps are used to communicate a message about the world from one person to another, and to visualize and reveal aspects of reality. Cartographers have developed a number of different models to describe and explain how to use the technology of a map. Perhaps the most prominent model of cartographic communication is McEachran's cartographic cube, which links how a map is used to the goals of communication and visualization using three main axes. Essentially, how the map is intended to be used locates the map in the cube and affects map design. First, the model asks whether the map is intended to be for public or private use. Will one person or a specific group of people use this map to solve a particular problem? Or will many people use the map for a range of different purposes? Second, is the map going to be static or interactive? Will users be able to interact with the map and change it to explore alternative perspectives and views? Finally, is the goal of the map to present something that is already known or to reveal something that is unknown? Is the goal to communicate a finding or a message to an audience, or to provide a way to explore the data to make sense of it? At one corner of the cartographic cube, a map will produce a static representation to present something that is already known to a public audience. Think, for example, of the kind of maps you would find in an atlas or a street map. These maps stress communication and are intended to allow anyone to use them for navigation. At the opposite corner of the cartographic cube, a map maker would produce a highly interactive map, which a specific set or one predefined user could manipulate to explore and attempt to make sense of spatial data. Both types of maps are valuable. They just have different goals. There are a whole set of interesting critiques of models like the cartographic cube. One critique of approaches like this is that the capacity of a map to convey information also depends on the cultural context the map is produced in and used in. For example, presenting a map of hotels to a black family planning to drive across the American South in the 1950s does not convey the same information as presenting the exact same map to a white family planning the same trip. The racial segregation of that era would not allow black families to stay in many of the hotels potentially depicted on the map. Victor Green created and published the Green Book for 30 years to fill in this information failure. Placed in the framework of the cartographic cube, whether intentionally or unintentionally, the original hotel map was not actually as far toward the public axis as the map makers may have believed or intended. However, wherever a map falls in the cartographic cube, the construction of the map is likely to share elements with other maps in other parts of the cube. For example, the use of color, text, and symbols all shape how maps are viewed and understood. Titles and legends are key to conveying what a map is about. Essential design principles like figure ground and hierarchical organization are used to place elements in ways that help convey important messages. In the next section of this module, you'll be introduced to these different elements and principles before learning to use them yourself in GIS.